What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Trash Talking with the Old Heads. Of course, we are the Old Heads. I am your host, Dante, along with my old head partners, Greg C. What's happening, bro?
No excuses. Play like a champion, baby. You know
And the
what I
homie
say all
JW.
day, every day.
What's happening, bro?
What it is. Why play like a champion when you can be a champion?
Hey, you already know. So you know how we do it. We say what the hell we want to say when we want to say it. We don't hold back on these opinions. We got a lot to dive into today. Got some college football. Of course, we had some bounce back games this week. We'll definitely dive into that. Big NFL weekend that just happened, wrapped up last night with the Jets and Bills. And we also got, I got five on it, which I can't wait for that top
I
five in
got
the
five
NFL.
on it.
Got five on it. But of course, we're going to start with Big Bama.
Big Bama.
Big Bama. And the
Big.
bounce back game versus South Carolina that wasn't much of a bounce back, but they did win.
We got the dub.
They did get the dub. Great.
That's the only thing that matters.
Your impressions, brother, of the bounce back.
It looked like we bounced ourselves right up out the playoff conversation. We looked god awful in the dub. Especially the last 2 minutes of each half. That's when South Carolina made a move in the first half, and then they was able to come back and make it the game tight, and we folded each half. Bad coaching. Players wasn't playing properly. Jalen Milroe probably had his worst game since the Texas game last year.
Yep.
Just bad decisions. He folded, and I blame the coach because when he came to halftime, he sounded like he didn't know what the hell was going on. Why in the hell would you throw the ball when they've been on your ass the last couple drives where they was getting the mill road? I think they had sacked them to that point like 3 or 4 times. 10 seconds left. You're on the 30-yard line, and you call a timeout to draw up a play that it resulted in a pick and 3 more points. Inexcusable. Jalen Milroe, we got the ball at the 10-yard line, and you sink back all the way into the end zone. He's starting to play like he did, like I said, by Texas game last year, where he want to roll out and do that. Jalen, both our Jalens like to roll out to the right. He had alleviated that problem, started stepping up in the pocket, but just a bad performance all around. I can't say that we're a playoff contending team right now. We got a lot of work to do.
Okay, all right. That's objective from a Bama fan. Jerry, your thoughts, bro? You agree?
I agree wholeheartedly. Bama's defense has been ass. The last few games, they can't stop anything, especially that weak secondary. The guys up front seem like they're not reading the right cues on run plays. I mean, the defense looks lost. I mean, they're not. It's just up and down, up and down. Where was Williams this game? That's the the alleged superstar. He and Milroe, I guess you call them superstars of the team. It was so shocking. It was really, really shocking. I know, we talked about bounce back games, but that looked like, like Greg said at the start, like that might have been a bounce out game. Because they had it just looked like Alabama and the coaching had no feel for what to do and had no answers throughout the game. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I concur. I think Greg pretty much summed it up. They don't look like a playoff. I think they still will probably make the playoffs, but they don't look like a playoff team at this point. I think the problems people thought they would have on defense are kind of coming true at this point before the season. I think that was people's concerns. But Milroe, I'm with Greg. He kind of did regress a little bit to me in that game. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's one game. It's college football. It's a long season. You know, it's one game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really, like I said, I think they'll still make the playoffs. I think just by the way that it's set up now, that they'll probably make it this year. But I don't think they're title contenders looking at this team at this point. You know what I'm saying? So that was my biggest takeaway in looking at them 2 straight weeks, just looking at that defense, like Jerry was saying. I can't see them making a run to the national title game. I just can't see it this year for them. Now, what about Tennessee, Florida, bro? I'm gonna start with you on this one, Jerry. Your boys, to me, they gave it away, bro. They could have won, you know what I'm saying? But of course, Florida, being Florida, did Florida things, you know what I'm saying, and didn't win.
Listen, man, if you think the Boo Boo had a bad coaching game the last few games, Napier got to go. That's just really what it comes down to. Napier has to go. He's not an SEC head coach. That's really what it comes down to. Now, for us to be in the game, it does show me, and I mentioned this last week, it does show me that I was right, that he started to play call and coach up the kids, and I guess practice with the players more in a SEC style format as far as calling it. But the game calling against Tennessee, it was a lot to be desired, because like you said, we really could have won that game, and
right.
we had a good shot at beating a pretty good team. Although I do want to say this about Tennessee, I don't know what's going on with Nico. I hadn't recognized
what
him last
me and Greg said. They stepped up in competition, and now you seeing what he is for real. The same thing Greg told you. Yeah, same thing we told you.
Listen, I get that, but what I'm saying is this kid can throw the football. This kid has been able to.
How do we know that? Against who? Tell me a good team he's done it against.
I'm talking about, when I say can throw the football, man, I'm talking about his mechanics. I'm talking about him standing up in the pocket.
So he looked pretty in the pocket, but can't do it against competition.
That's what you sound like you're saying.
That's what it sounds like he's saying, G.
Sound like that's exactly what you sound like you're saying.
I disagree. I get what y'all are saying, that he played well against the lower tier. I get that. But he has looked like a good quarterback. Now, you saying it's just because of the weak competition. Even against that weak competition, at least they blowing them out. You have teams with good quarterbacks that'll play a lower tier team and they don't get a blowout. So I think you guys are wrong just thinking he's just not that good. I just think you're wrong.
You just said, all I said was that we need to see what he looked like against stiff competition, where it ain't a 7-on-7.
And I wouldn't even call Florida stiff competition.
Competent competition.
Well,
he said it right. He said it right. Ain't no whatever.
To wrap it up, Napier going for it on fourth downs at our crazy times of the game. Then at the end of the game, pretending like he was gonna go for it, knowing damn well it wasn't the right call, and knowing damn well he wasn't about to do it, and call the timeout. Then he was on the sideline, yucking it up with the coaches. It was embarrassing to me. It was truly embarrassing. I started at Napier has to go. He's just not. He's not the guy for Florida. He got to go.
Hey, man. It wasn't a question bounce back weekend for Bama and Tennessee. I didn't know Florida was supposed to be bouncing back. Yeah, I heard a whole lot of Florida Gator talk. Ain't nobody talking about no goddamn Gators. This is about Tennessee. Keep your conversation about Nico, because the Gators ain't even in the conversation, sir. No, this was not a bounce back weekend for Tennessee either. They showed that they have holes. With that loss, the next loss pretty much takes them out. So it's pretty much the next game, third Saturday in October, looks like elimination game for Tennessee and Bama.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. I kind of agree. I'm with you, Greg. And looking at it from the Tennessee side, I think the defense is okay, but that offense, gee, I'm worried about because I think I picked them to make it. Now I don't know now. You know what I'm saying? That offense, it's kind of like we said, G, when they stepped up in competition the last 2 games, nowhere to be found, bro. Nowhere to be found.
Three
You know?
games, because when they played Oklahoma,
Yeah,
it wasn't. I mean,
yeah,
everybody
you
was like,
right.
"Oh, this is
You
an
right.
offense that's unstoppable." You know what I'm
You
saying? They
right.
can spread the field. They can do that. Okay, they can do that. But if they playing cupcakes
Right.
and it's 7-on-7, is wide open, Nico looks like
Right.
Aaron
Dak
Rodgers.
Prescott.
And
Dak Prescott.
the way some of these
And then
SEC teams looking, man, it's going to be a lot of weird teams making this playoff. The way this thing's shaping, it's shaping up to be a weird first year, bro. It really is,
nah,
bro.
it's
They
gonna
still they
probably be
still
a
gonna
2
put
or a 3
SEC
loss
in
team.
there.
It's definitely gonna be a 2 loss team in the playoffs, and it may
Oh
even
yeah,
be
it's
a
going to
three
be a
loss team.
2 loss. I ain't no doubt about that. It's a 2 loss going to be there, Chief. But
Tennessee's coach made some questionable calls too in the
he
game.
did,
He
he
did some
did,
too fast shit in the game as well. So
he did. But let's keep it moving, man. I know we got a couple more games we're going to touch on real quick with college football. Ole Miss, LSU. To me, that one, did this one do Ole Miss in? Are they done?
Pretty much that pretty much wraps up their season. I mean, they can ill
They gave
afford
that away,
other.
G.
So what now?
They gave that away, bro. Seriously.
Yeah, it was. I mean, because LSU couldn't, like we said, was not going to be able to run the ball. They was going to be
Right.
one dimensional, and but yeah, that I mean, LSU stepped up in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? And they should be, But again, it's a long season. It's a
Right.
lot of season left to play. So LSU did what they had to do. Ole Miss, they got a small opportunity, but they're gonna have to win out, and they're gonna need. That means them beating Texas. They're gonna need Georgia, Bama, LSU, all to lose. But
Right.
yeah,
What's your thoughts? Any thoughts, Jerry, on that game?
yeah, it's the same. They Ole Miss had a good chance at winning that game, and they gave it away. I was talking back and forth to people before the game, and to me this Kiffin it seems like Kiffin isn't coaching like he's coached in the past to me. I don't know what it is. I made the statement of, maybe he's not trusting the quarterback, but my brother-in-law reminded me that, they're leading the country in passing yards. But
he threw
he's
the ball
running
42 times.
He's running. I know in this game, but they were also leading the country in rushing at the beginning of the season. I think now they're like second or third in the country in rushing, and that's not really a Kiffin game plan. That's almost like he's trying to be balanced, and I get that, but that just hasn't been his plan. The couple of games I've watched, the way he's coaching just looked a little bit off to me, and I just couldn't really put my finger on it.
Yeah, I have a hard time ever believing in Ole Miss for real. You know what I'm saying? To me, they're one of those teams like kind of like Penn State to me that you always know it's a couple stinkers coming. You know what I'm saying? At some point, no matter how much talent they have, there's always a couple stinkers that's coming, and you know it's coming. You know what I'm saying? This one wasn't really a stinker, but you know it's one of those games that they could win that they won't win. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's kind of what Ole Miss is. You know what I'm saying? I think this one kind of does them in for real. Technically they still have a shot if they win out and get some breaks they could get in, but I don't see them winning out at this point. So I think pretty much for them they're pretty much done. I think this loss did them in. But to me, the
Yeah,
most interesting game I watched was Oregon, Ohio State. So did this one make you a believer in Oregon, Jerry?
Yeah, yeah, it
I know
did.
you picked Ohio State.
It did. Uh they look just as good. They look just as good from beginning to end. Um, I definitely like what I saw on defense because normally that's where they fall short, or that's where we've seen Oregon fall short. We've seen them just be too undersized and out talented. in the past. And like I said, they look just as good as Ohio State. I'll let one of you answer the question. Is this just a down year for Ohio State for them to go back and forth like that with the number 3 team in the country? But Oregon looked like a good college football team to me.
Yeah, they did. What about you, Greg? You a believer now? I know you.
Hey,
I know me and you picked them to win.
I picked them to win. I'm still. I mean, yeah, they definitely. I've got to had them in the playoffs.
Right.
Do I believe them to be the title winner? You know what I'm saying? What I said last week. There isn't a dominant team in college football. Texas kind of have stepped up to the plate as probably the best team and undisputed best team in the country right now. But I don't believe that they can't be beat. Oregon definitely solidified themselves as the second best team, but that don't mean that I don't believe that they can't be beat.
Right, right.
They still got some games to play. They got the Big Ten championship game. So, I was confident that Oregon would win that game. It looked like Ohio State had an opportunity to win it. It came down to the wire.
Right.
Both quarterbacks played extremely well. Just looking at the numbers, it looks like the running game from Oregon was probably
it was equal to Ohio State, which I thought was important. You know what I'm saying? They equal them on the ground.
Right. And, Oregon's got more production out of their best running back. Ohio State didn't. They got, a couple long runs from their second best running back. And so Oregon is a solid team. They're a solid team, solidly number 2.
Yeah.
What Oregon's head coach, what's it,
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and the schedule breaks pretty good for them too, because they got Purdue, Illinois, Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington. So the schedule breaks really nice for them going forward. So I they'll be in there. You know what I'm saying? I think they'll probably win the conference more than likely. It'll probably come down to a showdown again with them and Ohio State more than likely.
In the title game.
Yeah, in the title game.
Ohio State's coach's day, right?
Yeah, Ryan Day. So
I don't know. Penn State.
Penn
State. They just quietly rolling along
Penn
this year.
They looking like they ain't going.
Yeah,
I think Ryan Day only has one win against top tier teams in his coaching tenure. I think he only has like 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah,
so
Ryan Day is he's definitely gonna feel the heat if he don't win the championship this year.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But that's why I think also this is where the 12 helps a lot of teams. I think, you know what I'm saying, getting into the playoffs is going to help a lot of those coaches, you know what I'm saying? Like, make the playoff, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see, man, but we got to switch gears right quick to the National Football League and the big slate of games that was this weekend. Starting with Commanders at Baltimore. They fall a little short, you know what I'm saying? But my question is, well, one, Greg, were you impressed with the Ravens? Did they prove anything did they show you anything that you didn't know already?
No, they didn't show me anything I didn't know. They showed me exactly what I've been saying about them season.
That if they give Derrick Henry the ball, they're a good team.
they keep Derrick Henry. They keep Derrick Henry involved, and they are a nightmare to stop. Because you got to account for Lamar Jackson, you got to account for them tight ends. You got to account. They got some act like a number 1. Nelson Aguilar, Zay Flowers, and Rashawn Bateman. They can get down the field. They ain't the greatest wide receiving core, but they are competent, speedy wide receiver core. And Zay Flowers got them hands. He can catch anything. So he might step up a little bit in the wide receiver rankings by the end of this year. As long as that play action passing game, man, they got Derrick Henry involved. How you gonna stop it? How are you going to stop it? You have to stop Derrick Henry. You have to bring people in the box, and let's just open up the passing lanes for the rest of the squad.
Yeah, because there's not many teams in the NFL that's got the front to stop him. You know what I'm saying?
They are impressive.
Jerry, you impressed?
I wasn't really impressed. I I knew I was gonna watch that game, but I was gonna be watching Daniels. That's who I was gonna be watching in the
Right.
game. I
Right.
knew what the Ravens were gonna do on offense because they've actually been sticking to the script ever since game 3. They've stuck to the script of giving the ball to Henry, other than when they needed overtime to win, and they went back to Henry in the overtime. But no, not. I was impressed with Daniels because for him to play the best team that they played all year, he played fairly well. He still looked like the kid we've been watching all this year. To me, he didn't look
Don't look flustered at
he
all.
didn't look rattled, you know.
Right.
He didn't look like he was rushed or was panicking. He still stuck to the game plan and tried to make plays. So I will say I still remain impressed with him, but as far as being impressed with the Ravens, no, because Washington was right there. It just showed that they're not there yet. But Washington's future is bright. They need to, shore up their defense. Oh, also the Ravens still got to get they still got to get that secondary fixed. In my
Yeah.
opinion, they still got to get that fixed.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't go impressed either. They did what I thought they would do to the Commanders' defense. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a very good defense. We all know that it's okay, but they towards the bottom of the league as far as defense. So I wasn't really shocked by what they did. Again, I'm kind of like you. I was looking at Daniels too, just to see how he would perform in that type of situation, going against another really good quarterback, to see what he would do. You know what I'm saying? So I was impressed with the kid too. I think they've got their quarterback of the future. That's definite. They took a blow because your boy Jonathan Allen now is out for the season with a torn pec. So
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
so that's definitely now their defense, I think, is going to even be worse going forward. So that's going to be a problem for the Commanders. But as far as the Ravens, man, I'm with Greg. That offense is a problem. It's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Going forward.
So let me get this straight. Impressed with the Niners win over the Seahawks.
We're not talking about
impressed with the Ravens win
We're not
over the
talking about the Niners.
Commanders.
We talking about the Commanders right now. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
But since you want to switch gears, hey, hold on, JW. Since you want to switch gears, let's switch gears and go to Dallas. Let's go to Lions at Dallas. Let's switch gears. You know what I'm saying? The next big game on the schedule this weekend, the total destruction, domination, dismantling, putrid ass performance by the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry, your thoughts on that game, brother?
Hey, man. The plantation that we know as Candyland, Dallas, with the broke back, Peter measuring ass owner, Jerry Jones, and this squad, they ass, dog. The Cowboys are terrible. Dak was awful.
Again.
He was awful from start to finish. He's had a horrible year. I don't want to hear nothing about the $60 million on his mind. I don't want to hear none of that. He's terrible. This franchise is terrible. The leadership is terrible. All in is what this man said. All in is what this man said. And all summer he did nothing. All he did all summer was measure Johnson's all summer long. He didn't bring any pieces in. He wanted to put it all on Dak. I think that was on purpose. He's a show pony. I don't know. Jerry Jones sets this franchise up to look like utter clowns every year. And I think the older he gets, the worse it's going to be. They had nothing for the Lions. I hate that the Lions lost their best defensive player.
Yeah.
Hutchinson, I really hate that for them because they were rolling. They got everything they wanted. And they tried to embarrass the Cowboys even further by putting offensive linemen out in the flats and
hooking ladders to the damn tackle. Like,
yeah, they were doing. They did exactly what they should do to this bum ass team
You can see they was trying to clown him because of last year. You know what I'm saying? So they was trying to clown him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they wanted to get their get back, and they did a damn good job of it. And Dallas had nothing for them. They looked horrible. It was terrible.
Defend your boys. Defend your boys.
I ain't got nothing to defend.
No.
We suck.
What's the last part? I couldn't hear you.
We suck.
Turn your mic up a little bit, bro.
I mean, for me, I'm not one to pile on, man. I think the Cowboys, I think you could see it coming when Jerry didn't do nothing this offseason. And it's got to be even worse for Dallas fans watching Derrick Henry, you know what I'm saying, for the Ravens, when you wouldn't give $9 million, you know what I'm saying, because our budget was 3 for, or whatever he said, for a running back. What the hell, Jerry? What the hell are you talking about, dog? All you had to do was plug Derrick Henry in the backfield, and your team would be 50% better.
Derrick Henry wouldn't look as good as he's looking in.
But y'all would look better with Derrick Henry, with the threat of Derrick Henry is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he would be doing the same thing he's doing in Baltimore, because you got L-Jack, of course.
Yeah.
But
you have no
would look better with the threat of Derrick Henry in the backfield.
Yeah, you have no threat at running back. Zero. No threat at all.
But I don't think that's y'all biggest problem. The biggest problem is still the defensive front, you know, and this is just strictly
biggest
football.
Problem is the fucking owner. That's the biggest problem. And it's been that way. It's been that way for years. So fuck Jerry Jones.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what he did. Because like Jerry, you were saying he wanted to see what Dak was doing. But if that's what you were doing, why pay him? I don't understand that rationale. If you want to see what he could do with this kind of thing,
why pay him $60 million? Y'all heard me say this all summer long.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pay him $60 million.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. We got too many. I'm not saying that Dak isn't a decent quarterback for you to pay $50 million to. But I'm not blaming Dak all the way. You know, he had a bad game, true.
Right.
Yeah, I disagree that he's had a bad season. He's had a bad game.
His QBR is 48.9.
He's had a bad season.
That was with last game. Yeah, come on, man.
We got to include last game. Hell, we talking about the season.
That ain't the season. That's not the season. And he won the game. He won the game.
What game did he play well in?
And his QBR is for the season, which includes the last game.
What game did he play well in?
He played well in the Cleveland game. He played well in the I think he played well in the Pittsburgh game. He had a couple bad turnovers, but he won the game at the end. He had the fourth down throw. He had the drive to get him in position to make the fourth down throw.
Well, I think we can all agree 25th in QBR is not $60 million worthy.
I mean, but when you got
sorry, if you're in a close game against man, I can't think of his name. The Pittsburgh quarterback, Justin Fields. If you're in a neck and neck game with him at QB, what are you doing? I mean, really, what are you doing?
I don't know, man. We'll see where it goes from here. They're on the bye week, and of course, we know after the bye, it's the showdown.
Yeah, they don't get their ass beat again. Hey, before we go to that, can we mention that that video I sent with Jerry Jones leading the funeral procession through the tunnel going back in?
Now that is what it looked like. I ain't gonna even lie. They was quiet as hell, dog. Like quiet as hell.
Who does that, man? We ain't never seen that, man.
With the executive, with all the executives leading the way.
all the Candyland, all the Candyland owners walking up front, the players coming in, Dak leading the players coming out. Ain't nobody saying nothing to nobody. They look like children.
I mean, ain't much you can say at that point, though. After
or
like that, what the hell you supposed to say? You know what I'm saying?
The purpose of bringing that video up is beyond me. I don't even understand. Do we ever watch a team go back into the locker room like this is breaking news or something?
We've never seen
out of here with that bullshit, man.
You
ain't never seen a team get covered walking into the goddamn.
You ain't never seen the owner
back to the locker room. I ain't never seen that. Period.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody bring that shit up. That's stupid.
You've never seen the owner. You've never seen the owner.
No, I haven't. I've never
lead
seen
the
an owner.
team
I've
back
never
into
seen
the. They never
No,
do
I
it
have never
because
seen
they
it.
never
I've
do
never
it.
seen
No owners
it.
ever
And
do
I've
that.
never seen nobody cover that either. So there you
Jerry Jones. The only person that'll do that is Jerry Jones. That's crazy. That was crazy to me. That was so eye opening to me.
And speaking of crazy, Aaron Rodgers for the third week in a row with the ball, with the chance to win the game. Jets come up short again last night against the Bills. I don't know what to make of the Jets now, bro. You hit the nuclear option, fired your coach, come back with that performance. Greg, what'd you see, bro? Is it over for him? Is it downhill for him at this point?
Man, their offensive line is
Terrible.
about as bad as you could possibly have. They made some. I mean, let me not say that, because it started out looking that way, and then they kind of shored it up. They was able to get Aaron Rodgers sometime in the pocket. They was able to break Brees Hall open a few runs in the second
Right.
half.
Got the ball to Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, he had a couple long big pops. It was looking ugly in that first half though. You know what I'm saying? After they got up 10-7. But Garrett Wilson got his catches. I ain't gonna necessarily say it's over. They are not in the best of divisions. They only 2 games out of the first spot. They get they bounce, they get back with the Bills. They get to play the Dolphins. Excuse me, who without Tua are ass trash. They get to play the Jets again, who are ass trash. So it's not necessarily over. You know, they still got opportunity to win the division. So depends on what that offensive line do.
Yeah, because Tyron, man, your boy looking old as hell out there last night, dog. Like, damn.
He touched the ground.
The one play where Epinesa just went right around his ass, like, damn, dog.
Yeah, Tyron Smith, he you know, I mean, I wouldn't have paid him that amount of money. He was
right.
Before, yeah, he's at the end of his career, man. And they just got they got players that are old in key spots.
Yeah.
Your right tackle
Moses looking old as hell. Yeah.
Your left tackle old. Your quarterback old. The kicker old. Greg Zuerlein been in the league since what? Since when the Rams won it the first
like
time.
He's trying to knock the damn goalpost down last night. Like, damn, dog.
I blame that on the wind, but they just got old pieces in the wrong spots, man.
You agree, Jerry's just an age factor, or what you see?
They turned this team over to Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, with too much influence outside of just playing quarterback at this age is just something they shouldn't have done. You know, I honestly would have liked to. Well, at this point, it's looking like it wouldn't have mattered because of the offensive line, because Aaron Rodgers is on the ground a lot this season. But I still would have rather seen Aaron Rodgers in camp with his receivers, with this team, instead of all the other bullshit we got before the season started. And I just think all of this is just a trickle down effect of that. We know the coaching situation. We know the switching of the offensive coordinators and the demotion and things like that. And I just think all of that, I said it last week, trickles over to the defense, which they have good defensive players, but they hadn't been able to put it together to help this team win either. So, yeah, the Jets, they're not a threat to anybody. They're really not. The ownership, they're just still the same old Jets making the same old bad moves and killing any momentum that they even, when they have a spark of momentum, they kill it themselves. So
yeah, I think the only thing that's saving them is that division is not great. When you talk about the Patriots, the Dolphins without Tua, and Buffalo, I don't even think is a great team either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's over for them, but because one, the offense did look better last night than they have looked. They did look better. But all the penalties and stuff, that's the same kind of mistakes they were making under Saleh. So you made that change, and that it got worse last night. You know what I'm saying? So That pick of mine, I know I picked them to win that division. It's looking kind of bad, but they do have a stretch of games here, I think, that are winnable coming up. So I think they can get back in it, but I'm not encouraged by anything I saw last night. You know what I'm saying? Aaron, he did play a bit better. Mike Williams, I know I saw Aaron Rodgers in his press conference. He was critical of Mike Williams for running the wrong routes. So to me, when that's your leadership, you know what I'm saying? It could go bad. I could see it going one of two ways. Either they're going to get really, really healthy in these next few games, or they're going to lose 2 of the next 3, and it's going to be over for them. So it just depends, man. Aaron Rodgers is not a leader to me. And to me, that's the biggest problem. Like Jerry said, you turned it over to him, but he's not the kind of leader I think that team needs. And then secondly, the defense is not as good as people thought it was going to be. They're a solid defense, but they're not an excellent defense.
Right now, though, the turn game going to be the Bills.
Yeah.
They could possibly beat the Steelers. That might be, that's not a non.
It's not a gimme, right?
But if you look at the rest of their schedule, they don't have another.
That's
team
what I'm saying. The schedule, right?
So the schedule could break for them. I mean, right now it look ugly, but they could win the division with 6 losses. They could win the division with 6 losses because the Bills
maybe could win it with 7, maybe that division. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, man. But let's go and get to it. The segment is called, you know what it is. I got 5 on it.
Doom, boom, boom, boom.
We give you our top 5 after each week of NFL action. Who want to go first this week?
We'll let the Niners go first. The 23ers go first.
Hey, Jerry.
I'll go first.
You got 5 on it first, bro. Let's hear that 5, bro.
I'll go first. And I'm just gonna be straight up. My 5 did not change.
Didn't change. Okay.
Didn't change at all. I was going to.
Well, teaser. Mine did.
I was going to move. Well, I thought about moving the Ravens down, and
what the fuck?
And the Lions up, but they played the Cowboys, so I didn't want to bump them up. So the Chiefs at 1, Vikings still at 2, Ravens remain at 3. Lions at 4 and the Texans at 5. I still had movement, couldn't put my boys in it. The Texans are playing well despite their schedule, and we only have 1 conference win. So yeah, still the same.
Got
the list is at 5 Vikings. Still. The Sam Darnold effect won't allow me to move them right now. At 5, the Vikings. At 4, the Texans. At 3, the Lions. At 2, the Ravens. And holding down the top spot, you already know. Them Chiefs.
For sure.
Oh, the most objective, non-subjective list that you could possibly ever get.
Hey, let me ask you something.
In the fight.
Let me ask you something.
No dogs in the fight. No moving teams because I want my team to win and I want them to not look so good because I don't know if my team better than this team, so I got to move them up and down. None of that. A real objective list.
But that's because your team is shitty though.
How was it? Now, didn't he start off with the Vikings at 5 and gave the disclaimer that
yes, he did. Sam Darnold
will not allow him to move them up?
That's exactly what he said.
I hear you. That's a lot of objectivity there, boy. I tell you.
That's objective.
Okay. All right.
This is my top 5 that has the best teams in order. If they were to play today, I would have the Lions and the Texans over them. Of course, the Ravens next, and of course, the Chiefs. I'm not saying they're not a good team. They in my top 5.
Let me ask you this: if we were doing the bottom 5, would you have the Cowboys in there?
Absolutely not.
Well, I'm gonna go from top to bottom.
This is a 3-3 team.
KC, of course, is the best team in the league. To proven otherwise, they are the best team. 2, I almost moved Baltimore, but I still have concerns about the defense, like Jerry was talking about earlier. I went with Houston, too. I think they're the second best team. So I'm going Houston.
Defend your pick. We must protect this house.
They haven't done anything to say otherwise just yet. So I'm sticking with them. I'm rolling with them Texans. They will come out of the AFC like I called at the beginning of the year. 3, Baltimore. That's unchanged for me. I still got them at 3. That run game, that play action game, gonna be a problem. I mean, like you said, objectively speaking, it's gonna be a problem for everybody. With Derrick Henry running the rock the way he run the rock, and still the threat of Lamar to run as well. That team gonna be a problem offensively. Defense, they got some issues, but that's gonna be a problem. 4, I gotta give Detroit some love. You know what I'm saying? Got to give them some love. You know what I'm saying? That was a nice performance. You know what I'm saying? Big performance. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with their O-line. That O-line is a problem. They're gonna always be in games because of that O-line. Now 5.
Bang bang. Bang bang. Bang.
I almost went bang bang. I almost did it, Jerry. They 6. They right outside. They had 6.
Bullshit.
But until let me finish, bro. We have a game this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. You best goddamn believe we win that motherfucker. We will be back in. But I had to go Minnesota at 5. They undefeated. I'm kind of with Greg on it, though. I'm sorry, Jay. I don't believe in goddamn Sam Darnold. He gonna have to keep proving it to me a few more times, too. But that defense, I am coming around on their defense, though. They got defense and playmakers on offense. So if Donald just don't mess it up, they are going to be a consistent team, I think, because the defense, I think Flores has done a great job with that defense, and I think their defense is for real. So they're undefeated. So I gotta give them love and put them in at 5. Niners didn't quite make the list. Like I said, big game this week. We got a lot to prove. If we can win that game this week, then okay, maybe I'll reconsider us. But until we beat what I consider a good team, a really good team, I can't see us being in the top 5 at this point.
When we beat the Chiefs, we're gonna leapfrog three.
All bets are off.
Like Alabama.
All bets are off.
We are gonna leapfrog about 3-4 spots like Alabama when we beat the Chiefs.
Shit.
All bets are off. If we knock them off this week, all bets are off. But we'll see. Big game coming up this weekend. But let's move on to this final segment here. A little WNBA. Of course, the Liberty tied that thing up 1-1. Wasn't quite as close as game 1. You know what I'm saying? I watched a little bit of it. Wasn't quite as close as game 1. Liberty definitely looked like the better team watching that second game. Jerry, what's the deal, bro?
Well, the Liberty, they played like the best team in the league in this game. They came to play. The Lynx kept it close for a little bit, but they were just too much. Inescu, and my girl Stu, they were just too much.
Am I wrong in saying it seems to me as if the Liberty plays their game that really Minnesota don't seem like they can beat them? To me, I mean, that's just me looking on the outside looking in. I'm a novelist when it comes to WNBA. I'm kind of watching from the outside. You know what I'm saying? But seems to me like the Minnesota has to kind of play above their heads to beat them.
Well, yeah, they have to play it. They have to play it not above their head. They have to play perfect though. They do have to play a perfect game, as you saw in the first game. They were getting blowed out, and then they stepped it up a little. They stepped it up defensively, but also what contributed to that is that Stu had a bad shooting, a very bad shooting night, and so did Inescu. She didn't get off in this game, but she had some time and shots. The person that helped them blow it open was what's her name? Lainey, with the double name. Lainey Hamilton, I think is what her name is. She had 20 points, and she hit some timely threes. They just really kind of opened it up. They were always scrambling to her, and she bust that bitch every time. She made them scramble to get there. So New York just went on and closed the door in that game. They showed that they were formidable. And Stu was out of her mind. That chick has 7 steals in this game. I think that's a finals record, or maybe even a playoff record for the WNBA. So 1-1. Minnesota, they got to go to Minnesota. They play on Wednesday. So I'm thinking it's gonna be a good game. I'm thinking it's gonna be another good game.
Cool. Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us again for Trash Talking Tuesdays. We are the Old Heads.
Yes,
Again,
sir.
don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Trash Talking with the Old Heads, of course, Apple Podcasts as well, and Spotify Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. Any last words, fellas, before we get up out of here?
Hey,
bang, bang.
Bang,
next week we get up into that NBA, or this Friday we get up in that NBA. So
it's on the way. It's on the way.
That's going to be fun. It's going to be
predictions
very fun.
is on the way. Oh, we got that nice game this weekend. Alabama, Tennessee coming up on Friday too.
Roll damn tide.
Miko, this might be Tennessee bounce back game right here. Miko see that secondary of Alabama.
Until then, you already know what it is. We are the Old Heads, man. Trash Talking with the Old Heads, man. We out of here.